You sit in a small office under bright white lights, staring at numbers on an old computer screen. Every day feels exactly the same. Same desk, same job, same paycheck. Nothing changes. The coffee tastes the same. The conversations sound the same. Even the clock on the wall feels slower every day you look at it. Then, one Tuesday afternoon, an envelope arrives in the mail. You already know what it is before opening it. Your mother's medical bill has increased again. The total is now $11,400. You stare at the number for a long time. Your savings account has only $847 in it. You've been stuck at almost the same amount for years. That night you don't sleep. Not because you are shocked anymore, but because deep down you realize something important. Money is not just about working harder. If hard work alone created wealth, millions of exhausted people would already be rich. Money is a system, and systems can be learned. The next morning, before fear can talk you out of it, you open a brokerage account with only $200. It feels small, almost pointless, but you do it anyway. You buy fractional shares of a simple index fund. Nothing exciting, nothing flashy, no meme stocks, no gambling. Then you automate the investment before you can spend the money somewhere else. Every month, a portion of your paycheck disappears into investments automatically. You stop thinking about investing as getting rich fast. Instead, you think about it like planting trees. Small today, massive later. You start looking for ways to increase your income. On weekends, you begin doing bookkeeping work for a small construction company owned by a blunt but hard-working man named Goran. He pays you $400 a month in cash. One weekend, while reviewing his numbers, you notice something strange. 2 of his contracts are quietly losing money because material costs were categorized incorrectly. He has been bleeding cash for months without realizing it. You explain the problem carefully. At first he looks irritated, almost defensive. Then he goes silent and studies the numbers himself. A few days later, he hands you a bonus check. More importantly, he introduces you to his accountant. That introduction changes everything. The accountant refers you to a property developer with 3 years of disorganized tax filings and missing records. Most people avoid messy problems. You lean into them. You spend nights sorting through receipts, statements, invoices, and spreadsheets. No shortcuts. No ego. Just good work done consistently. And slowly, you begin understanding something most people never realize. Opportunities rarely arrive loudly. They arrive quietly through trust, competence, and reputation. Every month you keep tracking your mother's debt balance. Slowly, the number drops. Then it starts dropping faster. 14 months later, the debt is completely gone. You don't celebrate. You don't buy anything. Instead, you redirect every dollar that used to go toward debt directly into investments. The same $600 every month now flows into index funds, savings accounts, and future opportunities. At 29 years old, you finally cross $18,000 invested. Years ago, that amount would have felt impossible. Now it feels small. Your mindset has changed completely. You no longer chase quick wins. You chase systems that compound over decades. During lunch breaks, you start studying for a real estate license. You don't tell anyone. You quietly study while everyone else scrolls through social media, complain about management, or count down the hours until Friday. Months later, you pass the exam. The license becomes more than just a certificate. It becomes a tool. One day the property developer tells you about a distressed duplex nobody wants to touch. The asking price is $74,000. The neighborhood scares most investors away. Broken sidewalks, empty storefronts, old paint peeling from the walls. But you walk the property yourself. You bring a contractor friend and inspect every room carefully. The repairs are mostly cosmetic. Estimated cost, around $9,000. You make an offer of $61,000 for a fast closing. Now comes the hard part. You don't actually have $61,000. The first lender rejects you immediately. The second says the area is too risky. The third declines because of the property type. Most people would stop there and tell themselves it wasn't meant to happen. You don't. Eventually, you find a small community credit union willing to actually review your history instead of blindly following a computer model. They see your clean finances, disciplined savings habits, and growing income. You get approved. Your mortgage payment is $440 a month. You rent each unit for $650. After repairs, insurance, maintenance reserves, and unexpected costs, the property cash flows around $580 per month. It isn't glamorous. You're still unclogging drains, still answering tenant calls at midnight, still fixing paperwork errors yourself. But for the first time in your life, your money is producing income without depending completely on your labor. That changes the way you think forever. By 31, you own 3 rental units. None of them are impressive from the outside. No luxury kitchens, no fancy pools, but every single one produces cash flow. Meanwhile, your index fund investments continue quietly growing in the background. You now have over $40,000 invested in the market. Compounding is finally becoming visible. A coworker asks how you manage to build all of this while working an ordinary job. You tell him the truth. Lower your expenses. Automate investing. Build multiple income streams. Buy assets that produce cash flow. Focus on long-term systems instead of short-term excitement. He looks disappointed, like he expected a secret shortcut, but there never was one. As your income grows, you start learning how wealthy people actually protect and multiply money. You discover the rich rarely keep everything under their personal names. Instead, they use structures, LLCs, trusts, holding companies, tax-advantaged accounts, insurance policies, systems designed to protect wealth across generations. One of the first things you truly understand is leverage. Most people think leverage only means debt, but leverage is much bigger than that. Financial leverage allows you to use borrowed money to buy appreciating assets. Time leverage allows systems and automation to work while you sleep. Technology leverage lets one decision impact thousands of people instantly. Knowledge leverage allows one skill to create opportunities for decades. Relationship leverage opens doors hard work alone never could. You begin automating almost everything. Investments happen automatically every month. Savings happen automatically. Bills are organized. Taxes are tracked. Your financial life slowly transforms from chaos into structure. The less emotional your money decisions become, the faster your wealth grows. Then you learn one of the most powerful ideas wealthy families use. Buy, borrow, die. Instead of selling appreciating assets and paying huge capital gains taxes, wealthy investors borrow against those assets. Imagine owning millions in stocks or real estate. Instead of selling them, you borrow against them at low interest rates. You access cash without triggering taxes while the underlying assets continue appreciating. Then, when those assets pass to heirs, tax rules often reset the cost bases, reducing massive tax burdens. Suddenly, you realize the wealthy are not simply making more money. They are operating under entirely different systems. You also discover how life insurance can become far more than protection. Wealthy families often overfund permanent life insurance policies because the cash value grows tax-advantaged over time. Then they borrow against that value to invest in businesses, real estate, or other opportunities, while the original policy continues growing quietly underneath. The policy becomes a private financial engine hidden inside an insurance contract. At first it sounds unreal. Then you realize wealthy families have been doing this for generations. By 34, your reputation attracts the attention of a private equity firm specializing in distressed commercial real estate. They don't care where you came from. They care about your eye for value. They offer you a percentage of every successful deal you source. You spend nights researching secondary markets, vacancy rates, tenant demand, traffic patterns, and distressed assets. Eventually, you find a struggling strip mall. The anchor tenant left nearly 2 years earlier. Most investors avoid it completely. But when you analyze the numbers carefully, you see opportunity hidden inside the problem. Medical clinics are expanding nearby. Grocery demand is rising. Population growth is slowly returning to the area. You build models for every possible scenario. The firm buys the property for $890,000. 2 years later, after renovations and new tenants, the property sells for over $2 million. Your share of the profits is $121,000. For the first time in your life, you see 6 figures connected to your name. You stare at the number silently for almost an hour. Then you move most of it directly into investments, retirement accounts, and reserves. Because by now, you understand something important. Wealth is not about looking rich. Wealth is about control. At 37, you officially leave your job. You create an LLC, then another holding company above it. Rental properties sit inside protected structures. Investments are separated across taxable accounts, retirement accounts, and cash reserves. Every account has a purpose. Every dollar has a role. You also begin learning deeply about trusts. Throughout history, wealthy families like the Vanderbilts and Astors understood something most people never think about. If assets are owned personally, they remain exposed personally. Lawsuits, taxes, divorces, and financial mistakes can destroy wealth quickly. But trusts create separation. Assets placed into properly structured trusts can remain protected while still being controlled by the family. Future generations inherit systems instead of chaos. And that changes everything. You realize generational wealth is not just about passing down money. Most lottery winners prove money alone disappears quickly. Real generational wealth means passing down structure, discipline, education, and ownership. At 40, your net worth crosses $1 million. You check the number quietly on a Tuesday morning. No social media post. No celebration dinner. No expensive watch. Your mother's care is fully covered now. That was always the real goal. You start helping family carefully, but with structure. Loans are documented. Investments are planned. Emotional decisions are replaced with disciplined systems. Because you've learned that wealth without structure eventually disappears. As your portfolio grows, you become even more careful. You model worst-case scenarios constantly. Market crashes, interest rate spikes, recessions, tenant failures, regulatory changes. You maintain large cash reserves while others overextend themselves chasing status and lifestyle inflation. Because survival matters more than looking successful. By 43, you are co-investing in deals worth tens of millions of dollars alongside institutional investors. Yet your mindset remains exactly the same as when you started with only $200. Stay disciplined. Protect downside risk. Build long-term systems. Never stop learning. Because real generational wealth is not built in one lucky year. It is built slowly through thousands of smart decisions repeated over decades. And even now, after everything you've built, the market still asks the same question every single day. What do you do next? Thanks for watching.